Want to reduce the time it takes you to prepare for your exams while also boosting your grades? Sounds impossible, right? Hi, I'm Katy Oliveira, and I help college students just like you figure out who they are, what they want to do with their life, and how to use the college experience to make it happen. If you're new here, subscribe and click the bell to be notified every time I upload new videos to help you thrive during college. If you're not completing your reading assignments, or if you're cramming to finish them right up against your exam, then you're really missing an opportunity to lower your stress and boost your performance. That is super easy to do in small chunks over time. When I was a college instructor, I taught United States history. And as you might know, this is a course that relies heavily on reading. I always observed that the students who knew how to strategically read their textbooks and use it to help them learn within the classroom always performed much better with much less stress and hard work than the students who didn't know how to do that. In this video, I'm sharing my favorite system for strategically reading your text so that you too can boost your performance while lowering your stress and the time it takes you to prepare for your exams. The first step in the strategic reading system is to choose where you read wisely. When and where you choose to read is critical to reading success. If you're anything like me, reading late at night in my bed is a signal to my brain that it's time to go to sleep. If you're reading a magazine or a book that you love for entertainment or relaxation, this is totally fine. But when it comes to reading a college textbook to extract dense and boring information out of it, cozying up in a place to read at night might not be the best idea. Instead, I recommend reading in a time of day where you are wide awake and alert. And I recommend choosing a place that's kind of uncomfortable and allows for writing. Great places to read a college textbook are places like your kitchen table, a study carrel in the library, or your desk if you have one. The second step in this system is to survey your reading assignment. Taking a few moments to survey or scan over your reading assignment primes your brain for what's to come. There are some studies that suggest we need to interact with complex information up to 7 times to truly understand and digest it. And surveying gives you an opportunity to see the material once before you really dive in to read. It provides a roadmap for your brain by providing a summary, highlighting some key terms, and hinting at some major themes and important concepts before you ever sit down to read. Some great ways to survey a chapter is to take just a few minutes to read the introduction and conclusion before you read anything else. Then once you read the introduction and conclusion, just sort of go through the text, skimming the headings and subheadings, looking at any images or graphs that might be interesting, and paying attention to key terms and questions that are listed. Just doing 5 or 10 minutes of surveying before you go to class can make a huge difference in your ability to follow along with a professor and understand what's coming up, even if you don't complete the entire reading. Even if you do nothing else that I recommend today, I recommend that you at least start experimenting with this one step. It will make a huge difference in your ability to engage in your class lectures. Step 3 is to question. Posing questions as you read not only helps you to stay more engaged with the reading, but you're also creating a study guide that you can use to quiz yourself in preparation for the exam. By actively asking questions, you also reveal what you need to highlight, underline, or annotate from the text. The simplest way to generate questions is to transform your headings and subheadings into questions using question words like who, what, when, why, and how. So for example, if your subheading is called the end of the New Deal, you can transform it into a question by asking what ended the New Deal, or why did the New Deal end, or what caused the end of the New Deal. And now you have a guidepost for the information that you're trying to read from the text. Changing the heading or subheading helps you identify the main points you're trying to extract from the paragraphs as you read. If I transformed my question into why did the New Deal end? Now when I'm reading, I can be looking for the answer to that question and I can write it down in my notes. This will help you stay more focused, help you remember more of the information that you're reading, and also start to prepare your brain for assessments and exams. Which brings me to step number 4, write Notes. Note writing is not for in-class lectures alone. In fact, if you write notes ahead of time, it will make it a million times easier for you to keep up with notes in your classroom when your professor is moving quickly through the information, because it won't be the first time you're seeing the information. Having notes from your reading will help you anticipate where your professor is going. You'll understand how to spell words, and you'll have a sense of what to write down. Instead of outlining the chapters, I invite you to instead use my method of question and answer so that you're able to ask questions and then answer them based on the information that you've read in your own words. This is a deeper processing of information that allows your brain to create stronger connections, which will help you to create a stronger memory and help you be able to retain and retrieve that information later on when you need it. Simply outlining the chapter is really passive, and you aren't retaining the information as strongly. You might be memorizing it for a short period of time, but you might find that you easily blank out on your exam when you get under stress because the information is just too shallowly connected in your mind for you to actually retrieve it when it's out of context or when you are under stress. Step 5, review. Repetition helps us learn. Our brains are efficient learning machines. They strengthen connections for the things that we practice, and they prune away things that we don't use very often. This is especially true in our late teens and early adulthood. Practicing is a key part of learning, and reviewing is nothing more than a form of practicing. Reviewing is just a strategy for being able to see all of this complex information in small chunks continually over time. Once you add up all the times that you review with scanning and reading and sitting in lecture, then suddenly you've seen the information 6 or 7 times instead of the 1 or 2 times that most of us see information prior to an exam. This is going to mean that you're going to have a better command of the information before you ever walk into the test or sit down to study for it. This is going to give you an opportunity to use your study time to truly review and quiz yourself and to focus on the concepts that you didn't understand, rather than learning all of the material that your professors have covered for that time frame from scratch. Professors don't assign reading to torture you. They assign reading to provide you another tool to help you understand the information that they're teaching in class, because they know that you need to see the information in multiple ways in small chunks over time to truly learn. Reading is a resource to help you personally and professionally develop and boost your ability to understand information. This is just one way to read strategically. If you have a way of reading strategically that you just love, share it with me in the comments below. During college, click that video that's on your screen right now. Thank you so much for watching. I'll catch you over in the next video.